introduce is David Rhodes, our Director of APS Programs. And David works a lot with Kimberly Mendoza in the curriculum area, in our technology concerns, our technology platform for our online and our on-ground. Just because you're on-ground doesn't mean that there's not technology support for that. And so, again, a great resource for you, but I'm going to turn it over to David.
Excellent. And I'm going to sit down because of some technology issues, even though I'm the chair of the technology task force and should have this handled. So it's a challenge to every single person in here, including myself. But I'll be able to walk you through how many people in here are familiar with what's up on the screen right now? Please, all of you, put your hands up. Unless you have not taught. How many people have not taught, Pete, in our program yet? Hopefully he is the only one that's not familiar with this. This is Advanced 360, which is our learning management system. We have built this in a way that would be as easy as possible for you guys to navigate, and even easier for students to navigate. What you see as a faculty member when you go in is way more convoluted in comparison to students. Even though we've tried to limit even what you guys see, so you won't have to go, okay, where am I at? That's why we switched over from our previous LMS and get this easier LMS to be able to deal with, including some of the integrations like Turnitin, rubrics, all the things that we want to bring on are available within this LMS. Are you guys familiar with the section where it says announcements there at the center? Yes. Please do not just say, I don't want to pay attention to that, just like a student does, and goes to mark all red and just get it out of your face so you don't have to see it. It's important information. Sometimes it's for students only, and sometimes it will apply to everyone. In this case, we want students to fill out their FAFSA and the financial aid information. We want them to see it right when they log in. There's also a message in here. How many people use a Mac? How many people use iPhones or iPads to use Advance? For right now, there is something wrong with the app on the iPad or the iPhone, where you would send a message to a student, and then you would reply to that message, and then you would send that personal sensitive information to random students, which we do not want. So what I would ask, it's a glitch in the app. So what I would ask, and one of the announcements is, just log in through a browser in the iPad or the iPhone instead of using the app for now, until that's fixed. Because of course you don't want to respond very personally to a student and then accidentally have that information. That has occurred with almost every single one of us in the office and some faculty. So we stopped that very early, caught that very early, saw that it sometimes sent out to a whole group of people. That is also not good. So luckily there was no specific numbers, social security, it was none of that. It was just, I'm responding personally to this student, and that information went out to more than one student. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen. So that's a reminder, that's what's on this. Once you have read that, you can get it out of the way so it's not there on your screen. Also, make sure you're always consistently checking your mailbox. Once you clear these out, so let's say if I say mark all red and I get them all, see if this will work. You'll see that it's where it says messages right here. If you see any number there, guess what? You have messages. Somebody's trying to get a hold of you. So either somebody at the school is trying to get a hold of you or a student is trying to get a hold of you. So make sure you click in there, use that as a message area for your students. Please do it inside. If it has something to do with academics, and in all of you guys it will, because you guys are faculty, please use this message system as opposed to using an email system. We have SDCC email. Instead of doing that for specific things within the class, please use this system. And the reason is because you as a teacher and we as administration can go check to see if they deleted it, to check to see if they received it. So you know for sure when a student sees that or not sees it and they go, I didn't see that. I didn't see that message you gave me. You look at it and you go, well, in love, yes you did. And gently remind them that please pay attention. We give you these messages for a purpose. We want you to be able to succeed. So messages, that's the most important thing within the first area that you would see. And of course, hopefully all of you are familiar with this. If you guys need a brush up, what I would suggest is that you use the faculty orientation class that we've enrolled you in called Strategies for Faculty Success. We have the exact same type of class for the student, faculty or Strategies for Student Success. And we've built into this faculty class a way for you to see what they see in that orientation. So we want you to see the student view, which is a little bit different than yours, and we want you to be able to see what we've provided them. So if they say we don't have an APA template, they're not telling you the truth because it's there in every single class. I didn't hear about plagiarism. I've never even heard about that word. What is that? It's there in every single class. There's a prayer area where people, students themselves can pray for one another. You don't have to facilitate that. That's student-led discussion. But what I wanted to show you here, how many people have not seen this? Fantastic. I like to see that. If you would, just make sure that you go through. There are some changes within here, and some of which is how many people have noticed, if they've been teaching for a while inside of Advance, that it looks different. Have you guys noticed that? There's a little bit different colors. Things are set up a little bit differently. It's not drastic, but some of the bars off to the left, some of the videos that we have in the instruction are a little bit different. So, but the main differences are, instead of it saying lessons, it says course content. So that's what you'll see here where you see under home. The student will see that it used to say lessons. And it used to be smaller boxes. But other than that, it functions the same way. So hopefully it's not too confusing. As you go through the course content, I just wanted to review some of the things that we have within the class real quick. How many people have not done their profile picture for some weird reason? Please use this to learn how to do it. And maybe you don't like your picture for some reason, go take a professional glamour shot. That would be awesome. Whatever you want to put in there. I know some faculty members put trees and things like that, but I know that's exciting, but it doesn't show your face, so they know what you are, what you look like. We'll have that person remain nameless. An excellent professor, one of my professors. So, faculty expectations. So, you have this within your contracts, but this is just a reminder. The syllabus is provided within the classes. The syllabus is not extensive because we want them to look in one place, which is their lessons for each week. We do that on purpose just in case Kimberly or myself don't catch it and the syllabus says something different than the lessons do. We want to make it just very simple and say course objectives, descriptions, and the book title that we have within the classroom. So you have the teaching responsibilities there. Grade all the assignments. It has all the late work information in there. Please use Turnitin. I will not ask you to raise your hands if you guys are using Turnitin or not, but I will ask you right now, please use Turnitin to grade your students' work. Not only for catching plagiarism, but also for the grade mark tool that's in there, and for a consistent place that every single teacher is going to give feedback. It will grade your grammar for you. Like, how many people really enjoy grading grammar? Some people do. We won't turn the camera on them. I am not one of those people. I can catch it and I know, but it's a lot easier if the filter through the grade mark tool system catches that. You need to make some corrections. You still need to review it. Still make comments of your own in there, and then you can save those comments if for some reason you see that you keep on repeating comments to students, which you frequently do. Save those comments in there. Drag them over on top of the paper, and then you go on to the next paper and grade those. The student will be able to click a link within the class, go back and see that feedback, which is extensive. In addition to that, in the second class and forward this fall and forward, we're going to be including rubrics to almost every single assignment. The rubrics are smaller versions of our capstone rubric that we're building toward all of our capstone projects. An extensive 25-point rubric is in the capstone. Of course, we don't need a grade with a 25-point, just going through and checking all this extensive stuff within every assignment. What we've done is pulled pieces of that throughout the rubrics that we have created, and we're going to put those into the assignments so that students are prepared for the coursework for the capstone project as they get to it. Rather than, oh, I didn't know that I had to know how to write. Now, hopefully they know that by the capstone. We're making sure that we have that objective met as we build these rubrics in. Those rubrics will be inside Turnitin. You will literally be able to click the certain sections and it will total all the points up. And just like Heather said, and I think we said last faculty orientation, we are hoping and praying that those grades will automatically go back into our student information system very quickly, because it is tedious to be able to put it here and then put it in the Advanced and then put it in Power, but we are working toward, because we are also faculty, and we don't like that. So we're going to make sure that you just click the rubric, click the points, and the points will automatically go back into the official record. So you see that within this class. We have several other things in here as well as you're scrolling down through. Make sure you respond within 24 hours as much as possible, post the messages. Make sure you have a little bit of a written bio in there telling about yourself so they will know. That's another thing about what Lori has been talking about, and we want to preach a lot, is this connection between faculty, especially online. Those of you that are online faculty, we want to make sure there's that connection back to you as a real person, not just as a computer grading their papers. So this will be very helpful if you put the bio in there and put messages and everything. Yeah?
You skipped number 4, and I'd really like you to.
Okay. I skipped a very important part, according to Kimberly Mendoza. Contact the curriculum specialist, which is Kimberly Mendoza, immediately if you notice any technical difficulties with the course.
Right away, and please be specific. Like,
Yeah.
tell me which class and what's wrong so that I can fix it for you quickly. That'd be awesome.
Exactly. So Kimberly Mendoza is the person that you would look up to email. If you don't have that email, we'll definitely give it to you. If Kimberly is not able to do it, she will consult. She'll, hey, David, what's going on? Hopefully we'll figure it out. Heather will bring a whole quorum of people in on it and try to figure out what's going on. Sometimes it's content issues like a misspelling or something like that. Sometimes it's a Dropbox not working for some weird reason. Sometimes it is a student not being able to see the link for turning in. So it could be anything. So right when you catch it, please send it Kimberly's direction. We will make sure to fix it as quickly as possible. That helps us be able to fix it in the master too, so that in the future that will not be copied over as a mistake again, and then you will face the exact same mistake. Yeah?
I've had a lot of students that online, that they notice something's not working and then I go to check it out and it works for me.
Okay.
Should I still just send that over to her and she can check it out, or?
Yes, I think that would be a good idea. Sometimes if you say, even if as a professor, have you tried different browsers?
Grab coach.
I know, but you'll get to the grad coach way down there. But the students, sometimes if you just ask them a couple of simple questions, have you tried a different browser? Sometimes that fixes it, you don't have to escalate to the grad coach. But definitely send it to the grad coach so they can help them and walk them through. They have a little bit more time to be able to do that during the day.
So if they're having an issue that I'm not noticing myself, I'm sending them to the graduation coach.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not referring it to Kimberly.
yeah, let's go to the graduation coach, and then if it is a technical issue, then it can go to Kimberly. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, great.
I think that'll be the easiest way. There's some students that say, I don't see my video. We've fixed the majority of that problem. It was a browser issue where the security would block the video and they can't see it. Every once in a while there's one we catch, but majority of that has been fixed. And some of it is misspelling, some of it is, hey, there's something attached below. If there's something missing when it says attached below, Kimberly would be definitely the person to be able to talk to.
For faculty, that all students should contact their grad coaches for.
Right,
Yeah.
I would talk to faculty and we would talk to the.
For sure, yeah. So Kimberly is your point person, and the students would go directly to the grad coach, for sure. Your written bios, met the final grades, Heather talked about that. Make sure that you've already taken a look at the faculty handbook and community covenant. This is one of the cases that the attached below is not actually attached below. So we have caught that tonight as we are looking at it and make sure it's attached below. So we want you to go through there, and if you have not finished the quiz that's within this class, please do so, and you can repeat that until you get 100%. So we want to make sure that you have reviewed this information and not do exactly what we would do and do. In a lot of cases, I'm doing other things, I want to skim through and click, and okay, I'm done with this. It's very important information. We want to be able to keep this updated as much as possible. So you see all this information in here. Is there any specific things that you guys have faced inside of Advanced that have been a specific challenge that we may be able to cover and then help everybody else in the meantime? Yeah.
Actually, a question. It's not a challenge, but in the previous LMSs that we've used, there was a way that you can hit a button and any messages or any comments in the discussion boards would get emailed to you. Is that a possibility with Advanced at all?
Yeah.
The messages, yes. So within your settings, within your class, let's see if I'll revert and get out into my own. Within your course, this is one of my courses that I just completed. Let's see if I can do this the way this is set up. In your settings, you're able to say alert you can set it up so when you get a message, it'll kick to your SDCC email.
Oh, yeah, it'll kick, but it won't kick to any other email.
It won't kick to any other emails. I think you can add a let me check it. I think you can put a comment in there, put another email in there, save it, and it will also send to that email. I want to double check it before I actually go and try it. So, but that setting is actually in the alerts in each of your classrooms where there's 3,000 settings. A very strange thing happened this last week where nobody touched anything and a bunch of settings got changed. So we just want to track it down. In this area, we try to set it so it's the same if you go from class to class. But there were some strange things in there that confused some of the students. Anything you click in here could just, hey, there's something that shows up. Make sure that's not available in there. Actually, it's not even in this section now that I'm thinking about it. It's in your email settings on your homepage. Thanks for reminding me, Rain, at the end of the day. So, go down in here in your settings. If it doesn't currently go to your email alerts right there, just click it on and you'll also get it to your email. Then it'll bug you probably because you have to go back into advanced. But then when you go back into advanced and you have 3 other students sending you a message, and you're, oh, thank you for that email, that was super exciting. They get to see that, you get the messages from the student, you can respond to them as quickly as possible. The next thing I wanted to just briefly kind of show you and turn it in, how simple the turn it in tool is, if you guys have not seen it, and then we can get on with the rest of everything.
But you can't do it with the discussion board, right?
The discussion board itself will not currently. They're trying to do an update with the discussion board. They do have updates on the right-hand side of your homepage that will show your discussion boards where you see it right when you log in, but it won't kick to your email, for sure. Yeah.
I have sort of an off-topic question, but what's the pass-fail threshold? I saw it on the screen, but like what counts as passing for APS students?
60.
Depends on the class.
Are we talking? Well, yeah. I mean,
I mean,
as far as the F or a D, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they will fulfill the requirements of their degree program.
correct.
Okay.
So,
Their core classes, they
minus
have to get a C or
is
above,
Uh-huh.
a C or better. Any other class, they have to get a D minus or better.
Okay. How do you know if it's a core class for them or not?
Their graduation coach would be tracking their ed plan.
Okay.
sometimes they'll take a core class as an elective.
Right.
Well, usually there are 300, 400 classes, right?
Right, but
That's
some,
Most
some
cases.
people, that's true, and some people could be in one of those classes as an elective and it doesn't matter for them. But if they're in there as a part of their major or their core, then they have to get a C or better.
And actually, on the website, the course description sheets are there if you ever wanted to pull them down. And if you can't access those, I can send them to you. And that gives you all of their degree requirements for each major.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Good question.
In your, oh my goodness me, yes. Let's go down. I am inside the Dropbox, inside of Advance for grading. As you come in, like on a Monday, and the person has turned in work already, say it again?
I didn't talk about the Wednesday grading.
Okay, well, I'll say that and you can say it because it's important. Within the Dropbox, just come in on Monday and click where it says check originality for all submitted items. It'll check it all and then just go do what else you're going to do because it's going to take a little while to run these reports. That's the easiest way. This is when you wake up on Monday morning, log in, click check originality for all submitted items. It will check them all. Unless a student decides that they would like to submit something that is a very weird document that can't be checked with it, and it will kick it back in error. Anytime an error comes up when you're running this, it's almost always because they've submitted some weird thing they saved it as. Then you just put a message in the box, kick it to them and say, hey, I need you to submit this as a .doc or docx format so you can grade it in the right way. What I do in here, instead of putting extensive feedback, I put see feedback and turn it in using link above. For the student, the link is above. For you, the link is actually below, which can be confusing. I wish it was in the same place. But for you to be able to check the paper, the link is below. It says 30% match, or whatever the percent match. Don't let that percentage scare you. Sometimes it's a bibliography. Sometimes it's a lot of Bible verses or quotes. And you don't necessarily exclude that when we set up the settings. So double check that information. Let's see where it actually went.
Dave?
Yeah.
The 30% match that we see, that's exactly what they see.
Correct.
They will see the 30%, they'll see the exact thing, yes. They will, they'll see 30% and they will see all the highlights just like you do, and that will say exactly where it comes from. Here's the website it comes from. Oh, I didn't cheat, I didn't take this, yes, this. They'll actually be able to click it and know exactly, that you know exactly where it came from. Sometimes it is a citation issue, not plagiarism. Like they just cited it incorrectly. They tried to say that this was from here. You know the difference between somebody copy and pasting from somewhere and somebody misciting. So this is the Turnitin platform. Let's get in here. This is what will originally come up when you first click it. This is what I'm talking about with the percentages off to the right. You can scroll down through. It'll have highlights exactly like that. Of course, the words "the Old Testament" is going to be highlighted because somebody wrote that before. But I don't see any long sections of sentences that were plagiarized. So I know that she got the information, and this particular student cites the information at the end and puts things in there telling me where she got it from. But then you want to click grade mark. Grade mark is going to allow you to run the grammar check. It's just going to automatically run it. If for some reason that sits there and runs forever, click back into originality and back into grade mark, and it'll process very fast. And of course I say that, it's not doing it now. So. Once that loads up, it'll have very similar to the originality reports where things will be highlighted in here. They'll tell you about the grammar, things that you need to be checking. There you go. Some of them will highlight, like titles of papers and things like that. Of course, that's not wrong. Or sometimes it will correct the running head. That's also very strange. So go in there, remove those. Let's say in this particular student's case, you want to dismiss this correction. You just dismiss it and get rid of it. And that's what a student's going to see. That will automatically save for the student to be able to see in the future. Yeah?
When I was using that, I noticed like on the article errors, there were a whole lot of those that weren't applicable. Is there a way to just, with one click, eliminate all of the article errors?
We would have to, per class, not in the setup, no. Because the ETS is where the settings are at. I don't have any control over it. The only thing I have control over is spelling and the extent to which it's checking grammar. So they have like a high school level, an elementary level, a college level, advanced. I have different settings I can do, but not very specifically. So, especially in Bible classes is where this will occur. Verses and spellings of strange names in the Old Testament and things like that is where you would catch that. And if you would just go through real quick and just dismiss the few things that are wrong. I'm sorry that I can't change it in there, but I wish I could for myself since I teach biblical perspective. So I do a lot of corrections, but even with those corrections, it is significantly shorter grading time and a lot more extensive feedback that I can give for the student. If they hover over this article error, they can go straight to the handbook and see exactly what the article error is, if it is actually an error. Then you're going to want to, you can either create your own comments and drag them right onto the paper where it's at. And then also, if you want to do an overall comment, you would want to click on this little pen, type whatever information in there, save it, and when you're correcting multiple papers, don't go out of it and then come back in to turn it in and go out. Just use this arrow at the top. Let's say if you have 15 papers, you can just stay and turn it in and grade them all. I usually come in to turn it in and then click all over to one and then just grade them all and then go to the grade book and advance, and then I open two windows and then I put the grade in. That's the easiest way to do it now before the grades come over from turn it in back into advance and then eventually hopefully into Empower. Yeah.
So is this superseding using track changes in Word, which is what I've typically done for years?
This is the way within APS right now. This is the way you would use this instead of that.
Do you think this is good?
Do what?
Is it comparable to what Word does?
It's a similar thing to what I've seen some of the faculty within traditional side have used within there. It tracks the changes, you make the corrections or underline or highlight and make comments off to the right. It's comparable. I think it's a little bit more extensive and less time consuming personally, me using this tool. Plus, it helps from one class to the next. When we do use it, they know, they'll be trained to go to that and go, I know my teacher's gonna say something in here, and then kind of want to have different directions and things like that. Yeah.
And that same light, David, when I am trying to, because I'm used to using track changes in a different traditional college, but when I'm trying to write a comment of my own, not one of the built-in ones, and I always have trouble getting it at the right place in the sentence.
Okay. Like how to drop it in the exact right place?
Well,
Like you
right,
take this and
because
go,
I'm trying to say, well, this would be worded better as, some other, I'm trying to teach them how
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
say it better.
uh-huh,
Not just tell them they're not saying it right, I'm trying to give them an example of how it could be said more appropriately. And it ends up in weird places in the sentence and not where I
Because you're
want
saying,
it.
in track changes, you
And
put your
track changes
cursor
up right
there,
on there.
Yeah.
and comment puts it right on.
Right, and I have trouble with this in that
so
regard.
like when you're saying instead of it having this little thing that's sitting right like that, this little box, you're wanting to kind of highlight the whole thing, possibly a whole
Well, I'm
sentence or
trying to,
something.
yeah,
Or just
because
talk
I'm trying
about
to
the
help
words
them
are
know what I'm referring to. I can't
Uh-huh.
highlight a sentence or highlight a phrase or specifically. It just lands in the middle there, and I can't tell what they're seeing.
Okay.
Does it land in the middle for them too?
It will land exactly where you're seeing it there as far as the little box, but
David,
There's the option.
can't you highlight it?
Yeah,
You
there's
can
the
start
option
on
to
the left.
highlight and then
then put the box on top of the highlight?
No,
Or it is,
you
oh, I guess
just
you highlight it.
drag over and highlight your sentence. Or whatever portion. Okay, left, right click.
Okay.
Well, you have to go behind.
Oh. You have to go behind.
Oh, okay, right here.
Yeah, I don't know why that menu popped up. But you can choose, so you've highlighted that portion.
It's highlighted and the box is
Let's do
there.
that again.
Okay,
So
so,
just do that in sequence.
Okay.
So if I'm looking at a phrase or a few words, so
Let's go here with this right here.
so are you right clicking right now?
I am left clicking
You're
and
left
dragging
clicking
it just
right
like a mouse.
Like
So like I'm highlighting any line in like a
Okay,
Word document.
okay.
so then, once you click on it, you can choose whatever color you want. I don't know.
So then you right click on it?
These are the colors, right? The
You
highlight
can
colors.
choose those colors,
Okay.
and you can write your entire comment in there. And the student will see that highlighted portion. So when
Know
I
exactly
switched
what you're
over
pointing
from
to.
track changes,
Okay.
that was the easiest way for me to do it, because I was so used to being able to write exactly where I wanted
Right,
it, when I
right.
wanted it.
To edit, you
So
would
I
edit.
click my comments in blue, I'll drag those over. But when it comes to those very specific things that you want to convey to the student regarding
Mhm.
a particular sentence, I use this highlight because it's, that
Right, because if
location
we're
was
going to
driving
be
me nuts
effective at
too.
teaching them to
For sure.
write, which
Right.
is to be our biggest,
Hone in, yeah, the
Challenge?
biggest challenge, yeah.
wow.
You want to show them very specifically where their issues are.
Yeah, we need to
Yeah.
teach them how, yeah.
I would comment in here, and I would also comment overall. So let's say there's
Right.
an overall issue, not just a couple sentences here and there, but an overall issue of you're talking in text speech or something like that. And you don't want to correct every single instance of it or something like that. Say, overall, your paper content-wise was this, but, and then you have an overall comment in addition to these comments. So the more comments you put in here, the more comments that you save, especially if it's a repetitive type comment, you want to be able to use that and be able to use it over and over again. You're also able to do a voice comment if for some reason you'd like to do that. You can actually record the information up at the top, make a voice comment, and when they open it up, they can click on it, play it, and you're lovingly telling them that they did a fantastic job or they need to correct some information on their paper. So
I love how we include that, love.
you're lovingly correcting them, admonishing them with love. So
Empowering them to do better next time.
is it, yeah,
How do you save your comments? So that if like you're using.
you create your own comment.
So every time you write a comment, will it save it on the side?
If you want to save it as a quick mark, like as one that will always be sitting, it's just right there.
Okay.
Save as quick mark, and then it'll be in your little library. And then you go up to the quick mark library, or is it right there?
Okay.
You go into this little area, and depending on where you save it at, it'll fall into one of these areas right here. If it's a punctuation one, you drop it into composition or things like that.
So on the lower one, it says it's missing parenthesis around the word side.
Uh-huh.
Is that how? Okay.
That missing is the one that they corrected in grammar, and most likely when you see the word missing, it's almost always a comma.
Oh, it's a comment.
Oh, it just has the
I thought it was putting, it said there should be parenthesis around
No.
side.
Yeah. Yeah, you see missing, every time I've seen it, it's always been a comma.
read it too.
So, and it catches commas really well. That's one of the things the
So the-
CTS tool does well, for sure. There's some very strange thing it catches too, but overall, it's a fantastic tool where my little corrections are way different than me making it bleed with a red pen, scanning it in, attaching it. Like this takes a lot of work out of it and gives very, very consistent feedback that the student can go back and from class to class can see how their writing is improving. So, is anything other specific, not necessarily to turn it in, but advanced that you thought was the most challenging thing ever? Yeah, Esther.
Turning in have like crossing, I've already found
To
out.
cross it out?
Cross it out.
I haven't seen the cross out.
This word.
Anybody that's used it
No,
more.
it has, if you go, it has the delete option. Well, it doesn't delete it for you, but it has the delete bubble.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you can,
Please delete this.
can you click off that list and just see the second line down to the right is DEL?
Yep.
And highlight that and it just says delete. And so you can click on that wherever you want it, just pick one, then hit edit,
Sorry.
hit edit. And you can make your comment from there. My pleasure.
And then if you want to delete, like
And
say,
sometimes I use it with great glee. We have talked about this.
now say you don't agree with that missing comma. Now, can you just right click on that little purple thing?
And delete
go
it.
away?
Yeah.
You just hit the trash can and it goes away.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
If you don't agree with it, please, yeah,
Sure.
delete it out of there. Yeah.
I want to add, you can also use turn it in for the discussion sections. I've had
Yes.
students plagiarizing in the discussion, so.
Just pasting in a paragraph.
Sometimes,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it reads really awesome, I'm like, this is great.
How do
Sometimes copying each other's discussion into the discussion as well. So if you submit them all, if you for some reason start seeing that in a certain class, then run them all so that this one will then go into the system and then it checks this one against this other one. They can just copy it. We have a chance, we'll probably do some setting tweaks in the discussions where I will not allow the student to see a discussion, an initial discussion post before all the other posts are up. And like, they're not able to see them until they do their post.
Yeah.
So that they don't copy somebody else's and just paraphrase it. So most likely we're gonna lean toward that way with the discussions. I just wanna make sure you guys understood how to use the tool before I started tweaking some of the
So
rules.
what'd you say, they wouldn't be able to post,
They would not be able to
see
see other people's posts before
They do
their
their
initial
initial.
post is posted.
So then they would not be able to give their responses unless.
They would have to do their initial post first and then they can do responses.
Okay.
So it would stop them. So it's kind of, depending on what kind of discussion it is why you would set it one way or the other. But I would only do it, like if we see a high percentage of faculty saying, there's a lot of people copying discussions, there's a lot of people just copying straight, then that would be good feedback to hear from you guys. And right now, that feedback should go to Kimberly. At the end of each class, we will be building into each class an area where you have a survey, where you can just put it straight into the class. You can type in and say, I saw this, this is kind of overall what I saw as far as the student body possibly, they had a challenge with this. Anything that would help us improve the information, tweak instructions on certain assignments. I think this would be a good idea to improve. I think as you go through as professional faculty and are looking at these different things, you're seeing it with a bunch of different set of eyes so that we can make corrections and improve the class. And then also if there is a setting issue or things like that, or if you want to say, this was fantastic, the best class I've ever seen. Thank you for making this easy for me. You can say that too. With hearts and things like emoticons and things like that. So,
Thumbs up.
yeah. Anything else? And of course, anytime you can ask questions, you can ask questions if you're embarrassed to ask right now. If you forgot, if you're really tired, like the majority of us and our students are, at about an hour and a half to 2 hours in on a ground class. But this is basically the overview. This is some of the new stuff that we've started to implement within our classes, and we're moving toward more integration and make it easier for you, make it easier for the student. We don't want to confuse the student with technical issues. They're confused enough, as we went through school, with someone just doing the work. We want to make sure that it's just concentration on the work, and we can help them through that and be successful as a student, including orientations for them. We do the same thing for you guys as well. So, thank you. I think Lori is back up.
tell me one of your favorite pieces, ideas, tabs in Advance.
I can tell you one of mine. One of my favorites is being able to email the students their grades.
Right from Advance.
Right there, and it just goes to everybody. That's awesome.
Nice. Somebody else, one of your favorite tools or something maybe something you've created or uniquely done in Advance.
The check all button at the top.
Right. Yeah.
Easy.
Nice.
Check all, like turn it in, check all, or? Yeah.
Turn it in, check all, done.
Nice.
Come back 2 days later.
Anybody?
Students from their view too, just in case, in the APS classes especially, they have access to their grades for their current class and all their former classes for each individual assignment at the top of their area. So they would have grades sitting there, they clicked it, they can see them all. So you can do a personal email, you can also just point them to the grades area where they can see it.
They can do the same thing with textbooks, and a lot of students in the new class go, I can only see my last textbook. If you go in course load to the upper left, there's 3 lines that go across, and they click on that, they can go between sessions. So they can get access to any of their books at any time. They just have to change what session they're in.
Okay, somebody tell me a funny fact about yourself in your bio.
That we included in our.
In your actual bio.
Or did you make them all serious? Okay, so that's your assignment. You have to go and create something fun about yourself in your bio. How many of you have taken your final quiz? We have some work to do on that. With love.
Gentleness and respect.
And is everybody now good with accessing Turnitin? We're good on that.